Erica, I am your mother.
When I say big, you say tasty. Big?
What's happening?
Hey!
I'm home!
What I like about you, you dance. When you go up, down, turn around, think about true romance.
Who are you gonna telephone?
I am literally the coolest man alive.
Miss, I need the next size up in these pants for my little boy. These are too tight in the crotchular region.
Morons.
Whoa! Sick tasty.
Ah, my spoopy.
What's happening?
You're all lame.
See? We are who we are, and I love it.
I'm gonna die one day, but have fun with your friends. When I die, don't have a funeral. I don't want to take up anybody's time. One day when you abandon me in an old age home and never visit, you'll look at these pictures and remember how much I loved you. Mahalo!
That was sitting with the food?
The whole time.
Throw all the food out. All of it.
Why are you hitting yourself, huh? What'd your face ever do to you?
Baby, if you don't eat, then I have failed as a mother. Do you need to make poo-poos?
I want to love you, feel you.
I love you.
I love you.
Is that all you got? I love you.
I love you so much. Eat it.
I love you more. Boom in your face.
Shut your mouth, because I love you more.
I love you to infinity.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide.
Moron. Moron. Moron.
Yay!
What's happening?
She's got me all worked up. Let's switch morons. I raised a moron.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Comic-Con at Home panel for ABC's The Goldbergs, which we so wonderfully took a nice little trip down memory lane there. I'm Entertainment Weekly Senior TV Editor Gerrad Hall, and we are, of course, coming to you virtually this year, but that is not stopping us from celebrating this eccentric, pop culture loving, sweater bedazzling family. So let me welcome the people who bring them to life. As Beverly Goldberg, we have Wendi McLendon-Covey. Adam Goldberg is played by Sean Giambrone. We have Erica Goldberg, played by Hayley Orrantia. Barry Goldberg, hey there, Troy Gentile. And Jeff Schwartz is played by Sam Lerner. And we also have executive producer Doug Robinson. Hello to all of you. So nice to see you. How's everyone holding up during quarantine?
Pretty good.
Living our best lives, Gerrad.
Right? It has certainly been a few months of reflection and watching a lot of TV. Hopefully some of that was the Goldbergs for folks out there, because I certainly consider it some nice, great laughs during this time, some comfort TV, and I hope and think some others have done the same in turning to shows like this. I do have to say, before we really dive in, I wrote down this line from when the episode originally aired, and it just made me laugh so much. When Troy, you had the line, at the telethon, she made you producer, and you say, I like the sound of that. It's so vague and powerful. I don't know. It was one of the funniest lines to me all season. But I do want to talk about season 7 because, as I mentioned, we have been in quarantine, and the season got cut short by one episode because of coronavirus. So I'm just curious. Tell me what you can. How was season 7 actually supposed to end?
Well, I don't think we can tell you that because we're going to do that episode in season 8.
That was going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah,
okay. So
there was going to be a wedding.
What? As everyone looks around the camera. A wedding? I don't even know where to go with that. The ideas and possibilities are running crazy through my mind. Doug is suspiciously not saying a word right now.
I don't remember.
That is a good defense. So will we see then the 8 finale pick up, or the 7th, and what was supposed to be the finale pick up as the 8 premiere?
Probably
No.
not. No.
Okay.
No, we like to do our premiere episode usually around a movie and something big in pop culture, an event like. So that's that. We're going to stick to that formula.
Well, that formula does seem to work. Can you give any hints as to what that might be? Last season was the fantastic National Lampoon's Vacation episode, to remind folks. So any hints at all?
Wendy?
Say it, Doug?
Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you can, Wendy, I don't want to, go ahead.
Well, do you remember our Dinner with the Goldbergs episode?
100%.
Okay, it all took place in a very small area.
Yes.
Well, this year our homage is going to be the movie Airplane. Okay.
Yes.
If the only thing
But
worse.
there's-
Go ahead, Wendy.
I'm saying that, but I'm still not giving anything away.
Okay, right at this point right now is, picture it, we're at Comic-Con and the crowd is like going wild and everyone is cheering. I just wanted to insert that, all of that applause and that enthusiasm right there.
The only thing you can say is the only thing crazier than having dinner with the Goldbergs is taking an airplane ride with the Goldbergs.
Gotcha.
Sounds amazing.
And at a time when being on a plane, you don't have to wear masks. So
Exactly.
this
This was back when you could carry fluids onto a plane.
Or you could not, couldn't you smoke on the plane?
They had smoking sections on
That's
the plane.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pops.
That is
Yeah.
Barry's going to handle a plane ride.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
Barry's going to have some strong feelings about sitting in a coach.
being a little high strung, constantly trying to get up to first class. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Trying to weasel his way up. Okay. Well, thank you for the little tease there. That's just enough, I think, to whet the appetites. I know, obviously. So Doug, is like the writers' room open? What's going on right now?
The writers' room is open. We're doing this every day, coming up with new stories, and it's business is unusual, but we are moving forward, and the plan is to start shooting the show in August.
Fantastic. Hopefully all of those great safety precautions will be in place and we can all get back to some kind of normalcy. Yeah. So let's go back through season 7. I would love for each of you kind of give me your analysis, your take on your characters' journeys and those life lessons, what we learned along the way in season 7. Sean, can we start with you?
Sure. Well, my character was very it was kind of like a romance centric season for my character, and it was also kind of like his relationship with his mom has always been a large thing, and I think getting older and having more serious relationships has affected their relationship, and so it's kind of just testing those throughout the season. Also, being a lone kid at home, that was also kind of a thing that Adam was handling.
So truth, finally, kind of the only child for once. That is certainly an interesting situation to be in. And by the way, I want to welcome. Well, we're still working out his audio. Shall we welcome George in a few minutes? We'll just keep going. Okay. So all right. So we heard from Sean. Hayley, how about Erica's journey this past season?
Well, Erica's back at college, and I think she wanted to really focus her attention on education rather than just music. So she kind of put that on the back burner for a little bit and went a little too far in the other direction, I think, and was getting juggling, trying to have a dorm situation with, I think, Barry, and then I want to say Sam, but why can't I think of your character name? Jeff. Jeez.
Jeff.
I've been out of work a little longer than that, I guess. And so kind of trying to juggle a new living situation in that way, but really trying to focus on school. But it was really cool to have at the end of the season an opportunity for her to join the a cappella group at college. And so she still was able to kind of keep that fire lit for her passion for music, while also just still trying to, see where she wants to go with her education in college. So I'm curious to see what happens with her next season, if maybe that kind of sways one direction a little further than the other, but we'll see.
Yeah, you mentioned two things that I definitely want to come back to there, because that a cappella episode was so funny. We're going to come back to it though.
Okay.
Troy, Barry's journey this season. Tell me what you enjoyed about that and kind of encapsulate it for us a bit.
Well, Barry moved out of the house. He's in college now. He was rooming with Erica, but that didn't work in his favor. And then he moved in with the JTP and, had their escapades and going crazy with them. And met a new girl, Ren. So Barry's making moves. He had a fun season.
Met a new girl who then became the girlfriend, which I also love that episode. The back and forth there with just say it. You're my boyfriend. I'm your girlfriend. Yeah. I like that one a lot. Sam, you're up.
I think Jeff Schwartz is kind of growing up a little bit. He was very one-sided, kind of, just like the funny friend, and now Erica and Jeff's relationship is moving forward. They moved in together that season. He's going to college. It's interesting to kind of like explore, like watching my character grow up. And I think season 8 will probably continue that for my character.
Well, I think someone may be able to tell us more about that. Doug, where will we see these characters go in season 8? Do you guys plot out kind of an overall thought or plan of the big picture, or is it more kind of encapsulated?
No, we spend a lot of time talking about where these characters are going. I mean, that's the beauty of the Goldbergs when we talk about how long can these keep going. The truth is life continues for all of them, and everybody changes and evolves and has new experiences. For Beverly, it's really thinking about, hey, maybe these kids really don't need me, and what am I going to be doing in life, and what's my place that's beyond just being a mother, and obviously she always will be, but those thoughts come in. I think maybe this year we see Jeff stand up to Erica a little bit, and in the way that he did with his parents, and maybe not do everything she wants whenever she wants. And I think the same for Barry is going to start to grow up and realize a little bit more of his potential while still being Barry. And I think that for Adam, we're going to see what it's like in high school when you date the popular girl and all of a sudden you become popular yourself. What does that do? What does that do to your relationships, your friendships, the people who were your friends? And now how do you balance those two peer groups and try to bring them maybe unsuccessfully together and realize like you may be bouncing between your old friends and your new friends. So yeah, no, we always talk about where can these characters go. Murray has a new business partner where we left off last year, and that creates complications for him. So all of those things are going to continue to be the evolution of the Goldbergs.
And I love the little discoveries along the way, even in the when Erica needs to pay to get the boot off the car, like those kind of even those little personal discoveries where she realizes like, oh, I'm really good at like selling furniture. These kind of little unexpected things we learn about the characters along the way. Wendi, of course, I don't want to leave you out here with Beverly. As Doug mentioned, she's kind of struggling with the thought of the kids are moving on, and now she's about to kind of lose her baby, her schmoo. And she's always been so great at meddling in her kids' lives, always with the best intentions, but now it's becoming a bit harder as they grow older. And even though it may not always be obvious, she is adapting. So how do you think she has grown the most?
Well, one thing I loved about last season is that Adam started getting just downright mouthy, which is what should happen, with a growing.
He learned from the best too.
Yeah, of course. And I think last season, it kind of became apparent to her that if she's not going to play wing mom with his relationships, she's not going to have anything to do with him at all, because he's pushing away. So I like that she kind of was supportive of these romances of his, or especially the Bria one, like she came around with that, but she sure didn't want to. And I think she's going to be devoting some time to her Frentas and how she can start meddling in the community at large. You know?
Yeah,
She
no,
could have
that
been a
absolutely makes
lawyer. I
sense.
don't know if you ever picked up on that.
A couple times, yeah, once or twice. She probably could have helped Erica get out of that boot situation, but
Probably.
yeah,
But
yeah.
someone didn't ask.
That's true. Very good point. That would be asking for money. That would be a whole other thing. You know, even though you know, all of that said, still one of I think my favorite episodes this season was Adam's Big Adventure, the tribute to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. More so just because of how that episode wrapped up, because you were still telling him like being an adult sucks, but don't like lose that kid spirit at heart, which has really been so much of what this entire series has been about. But I'm curious if that episode in particular, and Doug or Sean, anyone jump in here, what that episode really meant, because like I said, it really stuck out to me this season.
Take it, Sean.
Well, for me, it was just a movie I liked, and I was like very excited that we got to do something fun like that with and the prop for that bike was just unreal. So for me, I was kind of more surface level that episode, and I didn't but it definitely was a pivotal moment of kind of it was kind of a more verbal acceptance of him growing up from his mom that he probably hasn't gotten too much earlier. So yeah, so it was pivotal, but I was kind of getting caught up in the whole theatrics of getting to do some Pee-wee stuff. It was very fun. So.
Anyone else have anything to add there on that one?
We just wanted Sean to wear the suit. That was it.
That entire sequence was so fantastic. Riding down the street, legs on each side of the the bike. It was great. Sean, or actually, let me turn to Troy here. So let's talk about expand a little more on Barry's growth this season. I'm curious how much, because you obviously have your you know, real life counterpart at your disposal in a way, and of course Adam, the creator of the show, can tell you all kinds of things about Barry. But do things ever, when you guys have met your real counterparts, but specifically here for Troy, did you feel anything change when you met him, or what have been like the big lessons you've learned along the way from the real person?
Well, you know, it's from Adam's perspective, right? You know, how he views Barry, and you know, he was the older brother, he was the middle child, you know, he has all those characteristics. But when I met Barry, he was you could see that competitive nature was just totally instilled in him. He's very competitive, and he's like, he told me, you know how good I was at football, right? That was one of the things he told me. And you know, he's unique, he's different, you know. He's a really interesting guy, and it was cool to see that, you know, because you don't really see like his mannerisms. You know, I could come up with my mannerisms and stuff, which is all over the place, but you know, you pick up on that. And like I would relocate to like a different area, and he'd go and like walk to the area I relocated to. He would get very close. He's a really interesting dude. He's a really nice guy. And you know, you got to think of it from his perspective too. You know, Adam's writing all this stuff about, you know, Barry growing up. It's pretty wild. So yeah, but I picked up on, you know, his competitive nature mostly when I first met Barry.
A nice little
Barry is
piece
very,
of information to
very
hold on
much
to.
the way he's written. I mean, Doug, am I wrong about that? Barry is.
Yeah.
They don't.
No, he
they
look,
don't
Barry's a doctor, and you know, we've written towards that and showing the intelligence of Barry, but Barry's Barry. I mean, he's a grown man who has challenged me to a race.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and did the race happen?
No. I told him he could win, and he was happy.
Oh my God.
the setting we met
He
all
has
of them
strong
in was
feelings
amazing.
about horses, correct?
Right.
Wait, Sam, what setting did we meet them in that you're talking?
Well, we met, or sorry, when I met Jeff and like the JTP, it was during the football episode we were doing. So like naturally there was going to be a good amount of competition there. Like they were there for the day. You know, we had lunch with them, and then they were like, "Come on, go long," and I was like, "Okay." Barry's throwing footballs. It was terrifying.
That's so funny.
That's great. You know, you talked about, of course, Barry being smart and being a doctor later in life. Another one of my favorites this season when Jeff Schwartz's dad has a heart attack. The episode at the hospital and how well Barry handled everything and how horribly Erica could not be supportive at all. And the whole, what was the acronym, the TEEF? How to care for people and show empathy and everything. Yeah, that was great. Hayley, something I discovered between that episode and the other one on spring break, you have a fantastic talent for being able to fake gag.
Yeah. Not something I ever thought I would use or needed, but
it's comedy gold.
Yeah. So funny. I mean, honestly, there was an episode, I forget what season it was. It was whenever the season where Lainey and Barry start kind of getting together, where I think we did a scene where I was supposed to go back into my room and exit after Lainey says something gross about wanting to kiss Barry. And I think Lou Schneider was the one who said, "Can you just like do a little like fake gag and then leave?" And from there, it just was like such a part of Erica's thing, where now there's like a Twitter username that's like Erica Dry Heaves or something, or gag.
What?
And they just
constantly account for it.
Yeah, which they just constantly post photos of like the horrendous facial expressions I'll make, and it's hilarious. Which I'm glad people find it funny, but it does get weird in public when they're like, "Hey, can we take a photo together? Like, do you mind if we do a gag face?" And I'm like, that just seems like a weird thing to ask someone. But essentially, it's a part of who she is. She's got a weak or a strong gag reflex. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say there are worse things people could ask for, but I don't know. There might not be.
It's one you probably think you would never hear. Yeah.
That is so true.
Didn't you say
so
it also makes you want to throw up in real life? Like when you do it too much, it like reminds you of throwing
the
up?
only way I know how to like fake it is to make the motion of like I'm actually having to throw up, and then I'll start like feeling that salivating feeling of like, oh, I think I might actually throw up. So I try to limit the amount of times that I really do it. But,
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. On that topic, I mean, like you said, there's a Twitter fan account. There are some incredibly loyal fans to this show. Tell me about, do any of you have, yes, exactly. They're applauding. Again, we can hear them all. Tell me about the aside from those kinds of questions for those kinds of photos, the interactions you get, the messages that people send to you. Wendy, have you ever, like, are there any specific interactions that you just will always remember?
Well, I've been, during this quarantine, I've been getting lots of DMs about people saying, we just discovered your show under quarantine. It's getting us through this time because the show is funny and it's family oriented and our whole family loves watching it together. Thank you so much for doing this, and that means the world to us. But I have a 3-year-old fan. Actually, he's a big fan of Adam's, of Sean's, to the point where his mother has bought him fake glasses so he could look like Adam. His name is Archie. He can do Beverly Goldberg's Flash Dance from season 6. He makes videos for Beverly about, the family got a new vacuum cleaner, so he wants to demonstrate it. He draws pictures of us. It is the cutest thing in the world. And right there, like, that just makes my life. A 3-year-old little kitten is quoting lines, from our show. But on Twitter, whenever we live tweet, they all come out of the woodwork and they've got strong opinions. And one girl tweets as Beverly's sweaters.
Yes.
There's a lot, and it's so much fun.
That's fantastic. Anyone else have any fan stories to share?
So many. I mean, we've got the Goldbergs fan account is it Goldbergs Updates that I follow, yes. That they are like
countdowner.
Yes, they're just so on top of it. Like I don't know how often they're constantly just getting new content and having to upload it, but they're great at that. And it's just so cool to see how much it resonates with other people and other families. And especially around Halloween. I don't know about you guys, but seeing how many people will dress up as like Beverly or whatever, it's just so fun. It's special to know that like we're working on a project that even though we have fun together, that people are getting to watch at home, and it's something that they carry with them as well.
Mm-hmm. Something else I wanted to bring up was a big deal this season. This right here. The cookbook. Now, I've got to ask, have any of you made anything out of this cookbook?
Not yet, but I did buy it. So I have it ready to go.
Nice.
I did.
Bought it.
I mean, whenever am I ever going to be on a cookbook? So I
Haley, don't you
do
eat
that.
shrimp parm like all the time?
All the
You're
time.
constantly making that.
The meatloaf photo is the one that really gets me.
I do have to point out, and I don't know if people have noticed this over the years, Sean's eyes are always closed in like all promotional photos.
Yes.
It's fantastic. It's this lovely little, if you see signs or billboards and stuff around for the show, always the eyes closed, because been there. The one.
Well,
with
we
the
shoot
eyes
an
always
option.
closed.
We always shoot like an option with my eyes open, but it's always just like we'll do it just in case. But yeah,
you got it. But these chocolate cookies right here, can we snickerdoodles? I don't know. Sorry, I'm gravitating to all the cookies because it feels like great quarantine food. But anyway, I wanted to show that off. Folks should definitely.
The banana bread is amazing because I've had her banana bread. It's ridiculous.
Very dense, just like in the show.
Very dense.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try that one because I have some. I'm staring at them right now. They're like perfectly ripe and ready to go. So I know what I'm doing when we're all done here. Do we officially have George?
I don't know.
We have
He might
video,
still be
but
working
perhaps
on
not audio. So, okay, we'll just
He's
keep
going to
going.
be calling in from his phone in a minute, so just give him a minute and you'll hear him.
Okay, great. No problem. All right, we will just keep trucking along here then. I want to get to some fan questions, and then we can come back to some other things.
Hi, my name is Nate, and my question is, who has been your favorite guest star so far?
We get everyone. We
Dan
get so
Fogler.
many great ones.
Dan Fogler, you said?
Yeah, Dan Fogler.
I love him.
Uncle Marvin.
Rob Hubel. I love Rob Hubel. He always
Honestly,
makes me laugh.
getting to have John Oates do a cameo this year was pretty insane. Just like
That was
there's
awesome.
times that we've gotten such iconic like 80s musicians or actors that it's
Hulk Hogan.
wild. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
Tommy Lee was funny.
Super cool.
Rick Springfield was delicious.
Yeah.
Dot Marie
Amazing.
Jones as the nun.
The nun.
The best.
Was hysterical. And yeah, Rob Hubel as Ted Calabasas. Is that
John
his name?
Calabasas.
John Calabasas, our recurring shyster who always has his terrible business ideas. Yeah, we
Every
lucked
time
out.
he's on set, I can't keep it together because he's just improvising and he's trying new things every time. It's just the best.
Yeah.
Who's the first of all you that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Doug.
I love the fact that the Philly Fanatic knows who I am. Like I literally went to a Philly game and I saw the Fanatic, and in his thing he was like, "Hi, Doug." In the
Wow.
the greatest moment of my life.
Kind of creepy.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah. You talk about not being able to get through scenes with Rob. Who of the first of all of you will be the first to break character in a scene?
I feel like I do a lot, but
I'm not great. I've gotten worse as the years have gone on.
some things will get Wendy that make me so happy. I feel like when you can get Wendy to laugh, or George too, it's such an accomplishment.
When George laughs, it's the greatest.
Oh, nothing better.
It's the greatest laugh of all time.
Another one here, maybe kind of along the same lines, but not necessarily. From Emily, have any of the cast or crew played any pranks on each other during filming, and what's the most memorable one?
There was a season, I want to say that was 5, right, Sam? Or was it 6?
It's 12 o'clock.
What was that?
My computer.
Oh, okay. It's 12 o'clock.
Time fairy.
So I want to say season 5, maybe season 6, there was this thing that went around. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but when kids do this symbol and you see it, then you have like permission to like punch them in the arm or something. We didn't punch each other, but it was more just like, how can we get them to look at it? So it started as just trying to hide it in scenes when we were, or like in the between scenes. And eventually it got to the point where like the JTP and we were just doing anything we could to prank each other with this. And
In the
Matt,
scene.
well, sometimes in the scene, but in a way that wouldn't disrupt filming. But,
So unprofessional.
oh yeah. And sorry, Doug. And then there was the rap party, and Matt Bush, who plays Andy Cogan in the JTP, he had a hat made with that logo on it and would just walk around and like show it to people. It was the most impressive way to end the prank season.
He took it, yeah.
Do you know if it actually made it into any episodes? Because I feel like now people will go back and be watching.
Well, I hope maybe, but I think there was only one time that we put it where you could see it in a scene, but I don't think they were even shooting that angle. It was like in the hallway of the college dorms or something. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Okay, so do we have George yet? I'll just
Yes, you have me.
Hello, George.
Yay.
Look at this. We have a wonderful addition here to the panel. George Segal, who plays the oh so wise Pops. We're glad you could join us. Glad it all got worked out.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, of course. So, I wanted to ask you right off the bat, because the first episode of season 7 was that National Lampoon Vacation tribute, and you got to ride shotgun with Christy Brinkley in the red Ferrari. Now, you're normally like dishing out advice and trying to steer everyone in the right direction. And Adam has been able to lure Pops into some of his movies, but this in particular seemed really special. Tell me about your experience filming that with Christy in the Ferrari.
Well, my experience with Christy was a lot of fun. She's certainly young at heart, and my only regret is that we rode that roller coaster twice and were not featured. Otherwise, we had a really good time. And it was a hot day, I remember, too.
That was a hot day. Like August at Disneyland, right?
Yeah. And that was my first time at Disneyland. And they put us up in the Disneyland Hotel. So it was a good time. Good time had by all.
Indeed. All right, Doug, why did they not make the final cut there? No, I'm joking. Christy did tell me she like mistakenly kept looking at camera. She told me that. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm a model. I tend to look at camera.
Well, and she also is very good in high heels, which you probably didn't know. But that's all unto itself, isn't it? To be so good and to walk at a great pace, all in those stiletto heels. I was very impressed.
Listen, same. I do well sometimes just to walk in tennis shoes. So hats off to her. George, what are some of your highlights from the show? Your favorite episodes or moments?
Well, I had a great time with Troy when we did Who's On First, our version of Who's On First. I don't know, was this last year? Because all the years run together now for me.
That was season.
Did we do that this year, Troy?
That was season 5.
Oh, God, look at me.
We did it to Wonderful Life.
I think it was also your idea to do that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and no, but those guys, you guys, the writers took it and really made something out of it. That was season 5. Seems like yesterday.
It does.
Wow.
Well, so I have to narrow this down to season 8, season 7, because this would be 8 coming up.
Coming up, correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Ask somebody else.
Yeah,
well, Troy, they remember.
I think Troy, did you start to mention the It's a Wonderful Life episode as well?
Yeah, that's the one I remember doing with you this year. I always working with you is the biggest pleasure.
What was that one, Troy? It's a Wonderful Life. A movie, by the way, that I have never seen. I've never seen.
When you're trying to like show me that like I'm acting a fool and I need to like I'm with the JTP, I'm being kind of a punk to them, and you're trying to put into perspective, how you remember that? I'm not really explaining it right.
And we all
Isn't it like a dream
went to the
sequence or
mall to
something?
take pictures, and you ended up laying on the ground in the photo studio.
Oh, that was fun.
Laying on the ground. Was Sam there? Because Sam seems to be laughing.
Yeah, it was funny.
Well,
The holiday
Doug,
photo. Yeah.
Doug, you mentioned that that the Who's on First, that was George's idea. National Lampoon Vacation, that was Wendi really campaigned for that one. So, well, Wendi, I'll start with you. What is at the top of your wish list? We've got to do this one at some point.
My wish list was to do another thing just like Dinner with the Goldbergs, where we're in a confined space and have to deal with each other, because that to me is so full of comedy. Just watching these idiots, get through 1 hour, So I would like, obviously I'm excited about the airplane episode this season, but I would like to see them have to sit in church for some reason. So either a wedding or a funeral. I would love to see them.
Let's say wedding. Let's say wedding.
But I'm not gonna lie, a funeral might be funny with the Goldbergs in a weird way, depending on the funeral.
I'm just imagining lots of church giggles.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And lots of church swats.
Yes.
Lots of church, like, this is boring, let's go.
Beverly thinking she's being quiet, but everybody can hear everything
Everyone
she's saying.
can hear. Lots of,
Right,
lots
exactly.
of mint passing.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Hayley, what about you? Do you have a dream, like you would love to do an episode about?
That's tough. I don't really know. For me, I mean, and this sounds lame, but not growing up in the 80s, I don't know what 80s reference we haven't touched on at this point. I know there's many, obviously, still to go, but I don't know if I feel like the ones that I've been rooting for have finally like come to fruition. So it's hard to say, but I love the idea of the close quarters Goldberg situation where we're trapped together and we just have to deal with it, because that is kind of where the comedy is.
Or a mother-daughter pageant.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Like a debutante type situation.
That is ripe with comedy. What guys? Do any of you have something you really want to pay tribute to?
I would love to see Adam, Sean's character, do a Big episode. Big's my favorite movie from the 80s, so that'd be really cool if he wakes up one day and he's an adult and Wendi sees that.
That's funny. Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's Patton.
That'd be cool.
Wow.
That'd be amazing.
That would be cool.
Well, I think one of the things that we can all say, except Sean, about our 7 years together, is we watched Sean grow up.
Yeah.
That's been an amazing and very rare for a sitcom. You don't see that kind of change from a little kid, and he was a little kid, turning into this adult type person, so sophisticated and so polite. I never met anyone so polite as Sean.
Well,
Me
George, I
neither.
appreciate
True.
that. Thank you.
Very true.
And now everyone in the hall
mentions
where
it.
we're having this panel is saying, "Aw,
Yeah.
all the love." And yeah. I do have a couple other fan questions to get to, but I want to ask kind of based off what George was saying there. Do you guys all remember the first table read or the first time you met?
Very much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I actually, Troy, do you remember, weren't you in the hallway when we had our screen test?
Yeah.
So that was when I first met Troy. It was like me and 2 other girls, and then Troy and 2 other guys that were going for the roles of Erica and Barry. And we were all in the hallway. I'd never done a screen test before, so I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. And then seeing who else you're up against was really uncomfortable. And then I think Wendy, we may have met at the table read for the first time. Same, or Doug, I actually probably would have seen you in the room. You were in the
Yeah, you were
audition
the
room.
first person we auditioned. The very first person we auditioned in the entire casting process.
That's so weird. It's like
Wow.
crazy. And Sean, we met on the day of the pilot,
Well,
actually.
Sean was
at the
There was another
And we had a
kid.
little thing in a
There was
bowling
another
alley.
kid, yeah.
We had a whole other kid, and then they found Sean, and it was Sean.
Yeah. Nothing against the other kid, but I think there was a magic that probably, I mean,
was
Doug,
no
you can
Sean.
speak to it. Yeah.
I remember, like George said, we did have another kid briefly, unfortunately. And then Sean happened to be in LA, right, Sean? It was a fluke that you were there.
Yeah, just a random.
Were you doing a commercial, or what were you out in LA for?
I was recording a cartoon, and they just made it that I had to be out in California to do it, and then so I just happened to be out
And
there.
so we had Sean come in and audition, and I'll never forget this. We said, "What, he's a little kid. What are you doing out here?" He said, "I'm out here on business."
I remember Adam Goldberg telling me, when I met the parents, I knew the kid had to be a winner. So that was good.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
And
Well, that is high praise
I think,
there.
about 2 days before we started shooting.
Right.
Well, that is one of those fantastic Hollywood stories, and it has certainly worked out fantastically. I cannot imagine the show without any of you in it. So I do want to thank all of you for joining us. Let me tell everyone first, the Goldbergs will air its new season later this year in its normal Wednesday 8 p.m. time slot. Of course, episodes can be viewed the next day on abc.com and the ABC app and Hulu. And of course, you can always watch your favorite episodes on TV Land and Pop. Right now is a perfect time to be catching up on this show. It's so easy and wonderful and lovely, and you won't regret it. I'll give one more plug here for the cookbook. Pick it up, buy it, enjoy it, gift it. You won't regret that either. And there's also, by the way, a Goldbergs mobile game. If you didn't know, it takes you back to the 80s. It's the only official Goldbergs mobile game, and you can download that. The game is free in the App Store or in the Google Play Store, available in any country in the world. So again, my thanks to Wendi McLendon-Covey, George Segal, Sean Giambrone, Hayley Orrantia, Troy Gentile, Sam Lerner, and Doug Robinson. It is so great to see all of you, and thanks to all of you at home for watching.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.